Eric's Middle School parliamentary debate today. Debate assertion is the United States should halt trade with nations that practice child labor. Thank you to our judges, timer and videogrammer. I'd like to give a quick reminder to the audience that there should be no talking once the debate begins. Traditionally, praise and appreciation are shown with a light resting on the desk. And the audience will need to hold all praise until the end. However, debates may no praise during the debate. Time are you ready? We begin with the first proportion, construction.
So you can just take your script and then sit down, please? No problem.
We should halt trade with countries that practice child labor because it is dangerous. Children are forced to do dangerous jobs under poor working conditions with little or no reasonable pay. The U.S. should not contribute to this practice by continuing trade relations. 168 million children worldwide serve as child laborers. Over half of them work in industries that are potentially dangerous to their health or well-being. They work long hours, and some of them do so much work that they don't even attend school or having a normal childhood. And many government and non-profit organizations are working to end this practice so that all children worldwide can have the same opportunities. The United Nations estimate that over 200 million children worldwide are engaged in child labor, and that nearly 70% of them are working in hazardous conditions. Children workers often have extremely difficult working conditions, very long work durations from 12 to 16 hours a day, injuries from machinery, health problems from chemical poisoning, and no access to drinking water or toilet blocks. Children who have worked in these conditions suffer from lifelong disability and die at younger ages. The kind of child labor is, of course, absolutely abnormal because of their young age. Children are less expensive to hire, less likely to protest on their working conditions or salaries, and therefore easier to fire. Businesses are not bound by any regulations, and most companies tend to abuse the situation and literally exploit them. To me, this is sad to think of because they're little kids and they have to work so many hours a day, and they get little water. If they are lucky, they might get more, and they pretty much get starved and abused. While children are getting jobs in factories because of their low wages, adults often face difficulties to find work due to child competition.
Acknowledge the POI, please. You have to say no thank you or let him speak.
No, thank you. Feel unproductive and ashamed that they can't support the family, but that their children are, which causes social issues.
I'm the first opposition speaker of not halting trade with countries that practice child labor. One of my first few claims are that poor children can work to pay for food. My evidence to back this up is that families don't get paid much to do children, so children drop out of school to help provide for their family. And also in some countries, it is tradition for children to work. My second claim is that by halting trade with countries, we are taking away jobs from kids that need to provide for their family. My evidence to back this up is that we trade medical supplies, food, water, and other resources that can help children and families in need. Also, trading with countries. I can't. I'm finished.
You've got 5 minutes, so
I
if you
know.
need to just like take a minute.
I
Do
can't
you want
do
some
this.
water?
I can't.
Okay, well,
No.
you could go outside.
Yeah. Let me finish.
Can you stop the filming, please?
Okay, first, I would like to get a source for your paper.
Where'd you get?
The first proposition speaker. Source.
So they can't comment at this point, but you can say, hey, first of all, I would say they didn't provide any sources, okay?
First of all, they didn't provide any sources. By halting trade with countries, we are taking away jobs from kids that need to provide for their family. My evidence to back this statement: traditional supply, or I can't really read.
Do your best.
Trade, educational supplies, food, water, and other resources that can help children and families in need, and trading with other countries that practice child labor, and then it just ends off.
Next speaker.
Next speaker. 5 minutes, it just restarted.
We should halt trade with countries that practice child labor because many kids are forced to do work that is very dangerous in some conditions that include injury or death. Children in India have to do mining, and some after that are done finishing the job don't get paid.
Source.
The highest child laborers are found in Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. They abuse child labor because kids are affected a lot. Not going to school can cause their income, learning potential as adults. The health and well-being of a child. Child labor is at risk, and they can only end up being stopped in a cycle of poverty.
Source.
Child labor is mortally impermissible. It is taken for granted in modern Western culture and is multinational organization based in the third world countries or areas. That's all I have.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I am the second opposition speaker for today's debate. I would like to add more evidence to support our claim. For our first claim, I would like to put that by halting trade with other countries, we are taking away jobs from children that need to provide for their families. The evidence that I have for this claim is, according to trade.gov, the export of goods in 2016 took an estimated 10.7 million U.S. jobs. Now imagine if we stopped trade with those countries, how many jobs do you think that would take away from the kids who need to provide for their family? They get paid according to BTS size, I can't pronounce that, but they get paid 15p, which is 19.95 USD. According to childlabor.pdf, if kids don't have a job for their family, they could live in poverty and struggle to survive. Our next claim is that children need to work to provide for their families. According to childlabor.pdf, families don't get paid as much, so kids work to provide for their families. Another piece of evidence that, according to BitSize, again, they get paid $95 USD and 15p. Now that that was a short paragraph because I wanted to leave more evidence for our first speaker. Our last claim is by halting trade, you are taking away valuable resources that other countries need. According to the balance, we trade food and water. If we halt trade, we are taking away those resources from those people. We also provide medical supplies such as medicine and bandages. Another thing we trade with those countries is automobiles and fuel for them to get places. These are valuable resources that we would take away from those countries. Thank you for listening. Our third speaker has a few things to say.
Okay, did you guys, were you gonna do your rebuttal? No rebuttal?
We don't have anything.
Okay.
You
Eli?
I am good opposition, and I think we should win because halt trading is taking away jobs from kids who need the money to buy food or water for their family. By halt trading, we are putting kids in poverty. And if we trade with countries that practice child labor, we can give kids and their families food and supplies to help them. That's all I have.
So instead of saying, that's all you have, just say, thank you, and then you say,
What?
say thank you. Yeah.
I disagree.
You lost your chance though to refute.
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, they're the opposition.
Okay, so you said that they get paid to help their families, but some don't get paid, so that's not gonna help their
Source.
family.
You have to stand up and.
So what they do, they drop out of school, they do the work for their families because they don't have enough money to pay for food and stuff. But some don't get paid and some do dangerous jobs. Literally just saying whatever comes in my mind.